my name is Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be my TBR for the seasonal series reading challenge that is on Twitter. So for those of you who don't know about this challenge, it's kind of exactly how it sounds. Every season there is a new set of challenges, so like spring, autumn, summer, winter, there's different challenges. All of these challenges have to do with different book series. So right now we are in the season of spring, although outside it doesn't really look like it currently because it's grey and dreary and just miserable. I'm going to be looking at the spring challenges. I will leave a link down below to the Twitter page so you can check it out for yourself. It runs from the 20th of March until I believe the middle of June. I'll leave the dates just here just in case any of you guys are interested. If you would like to see my TBR list for the Spring Seasonal Series Challenge, just keep watching. This set of challenges, I believe there's like 24 or 25, and there are different kind of types of challenges. There are ones that are specifically to do with series, so like read a first book in a series, read a second book, read a duology, things like that. But there are also some challenges that you're allowed to kind of use other books for. So this could be ones like reading a book while drinking lemonade, for example, or listening to an audiobook while going on a walk. So I'm going to stick to the ones that are related to series just now, mostly because I'm going to try and fit the extra challenges around books that I was already planning on reading in the upcoming months anyway. I also decided that for this readathon I am going to try my best to make it related to books that I already own. I'm trying not to have to buy any books or try to borrow too many books from the library, because in the next couple of months I'm already going to be borrowing pretty much my limit every month. So I'm going to try and get through some of these books that I've been buying. The first challenge I'm going to be completing is actually challenge number 3, and that is to read the first book in a series. That one I have picked A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. So I've been wanting to read this book for such a long time. I've actually been wanting to read the series for such a long time in general. I just bought them quite recently and I'll leave a link to that haul video down below in case you want to check that one out. I'm super excited. It follows our main character who kills a fairy. I don't know if this is like accidental or on purpose or what the story with that is. But she is kind of dragged into this like magical world to be punished for what she's done, basically. Not totally sure how much I'm going to like this book. I've tried to read a Sarah J book mass in the past and that was Throne of Glass, and I just couldn't really get into it very well. You'll actually see that in my upcoming What I Read in March video, and I'll speak a bit more about that there. But it's a completely different series, so I'm willing to give this a shot, and I am looking forward to this book because it has a lot of hype. The whole series has a lot of hype on BookTube, so I am super excited to give it a go and hopefully I'll enjoy this one a bit more. So the next challenge that I'm going to be trying to complete is a book in a series that's been sitting on your shelf for too long. For that one, I have picked Tales of the Peculiar by Ramson Riggs. This book is linked to the Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children, or Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series. I can't actually remember what that's called. And this one is kind of like a set of short stories based on some of these peculiar people. I know that it's got cannibals in it and a girl who speaks to ghosts, and there's a princess who's got a forked tongue. But yeah, it just sounds really interesting, and I thought it would be a bit different because it is a set of short stories. It's one that I could kind of pick up maybe in between books, or if I'm kind of just having a bit of a slump and I want to try something a bit different. The next challenge I'm going to be trying to do is challenge number 7, and that is a book with pink on the cover. So for that one I have picked Unspoken, and that is by Sarah Rees Brennan. So I'm actually planning on reading this pretty soon as part of the Irish Readathon, hopefully some point this week as well. And I was actually really struggling to find a book in my collection that had pink. So this is pretty minimal, the amount of pink, but it's there, the title and the little Lynburn legacy bits written in pink, so I'm going with it. This follows our main character who's called Carrie. She lives in a small little village, and there's an estate or a big kind of home, and the Lynburn family go missing. And then after they go missing, she starts kind of hearing this voice, and she falls in love with this voice. It's a young boy or a teenage boy, and she starts to fall in love with him. I don't know if she can communicate with him or anything yet. But then when the Lynburn family come back, she realizes that the voice that she's been hearing is a real person. So I'm really excited to kind of check this one out. It sounds completely bizarre and I'm not really sure what to think of it yet, but it sounded interesting and it fitted in with a couple different challenges as well, so I'm excited to read that one. Next challenge I'm going to try and do is challenge number 8, which is to read a book in a middle grade series. Now, I don't really own, that I'm aware of, that many middle grade series, but I think this one counts. It's Skullduggery Pleasant, and that is by Derek Landley. I looked it up and a lot of people are saying it's middle grade. A lot of people also say YA as well, so I'm not totally sure. But the suggested reading age was like around 10 years old, which I believe is middle grade. So I'm going to take it that it's going to count, and this is going to be my book from a middle grade series. I know about this kind of series of books. There is this guy here who is a skeleton detective. There is a young girl who kind of helps him out, and they are solving crimes together. The last few books that I have read have been kind of like thrillers, and I've been really in the mood for kind of like crime and hearing it from like a police officer's kind of point of view. So I think this one is totally gonna be right up my alley for what I'm in the mood for just now. Next challenge that I want to do is challenge number 9, which is to read a series of books that have a new book coming out this year. For this challenge, I'm going to read The Court of Thorns and Roses. As I've already kind of described the first book, I'm not going to say too much about them, but I've been really looking forward to reading this series. And the new book, A Court of Frost and Starlight, comes out I believe in May. So I've got quite a lot to get through before May. The next challenge I want to do is to read a book where the main character's parents are alive. So it seems to be a running theme in a lot of series that the main character has been like orphaned, or like one of their parents has died. So for this challenge I'm going to read Untold by Sarah Rees Brennan, and that is the second book like in the Library and Legacy series. As far as I'm aware, Cammie's parents are alive, because I've obviously not read the books yet, I'm not totally sure. But as far as I'm aware, the parents are alive. And I read something that Sarah Rees Brennan had said about the parents, so like I believe they're alive. But if I read the books and realise they aren't alive, I will pick something else. The next challenge that I want to do is number 14, and that is to read a book in a series where only the first book is out. So for this I'm going to read Ember in the Ashes by Sabata here. So a lot of you might be looking at this and kind of thinking the second book is already out. Well, not in the UK. I actually looked it up and it's not released in the UK until I believe like June of this year, which is quite annoying. Although I could just order it on like Book Depository or like an American website and get it anyway. But for the purpose of this challenge, I'm just going to say that it's not out yet, so it can fulfill that challenge. So An Ember in the Ashes follows our main character. Her grandparents have been brutally murdered and her brother has been arrested for treason. So she has no one else to turn to but the rebels of her like city, and they say the only way that they will help her and her brother is if she turns to be a spy for them. So she ends up, I believe, in the like country's army, and she's being a spy against one of the like higher up, like I don't really know what they're called, soldiers, like generals, something like that. I believe there's a bit of a love interest. It's really unexpected, and yeah, it just sounds like a really interesting book. I've heard a lot of great things about Sabata Hire's writing, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that one as well. Challenge is challenge number 15, and that is a book in a series that kind of takes place in the real world, so no fantasy here. So for this one I have picked In the Woods by Tanya French. I'm actually reading this again for the Irish Readathon, so it's kind of tying the two together, which makes my life a little bit easier. This book follows a detective who, when he's younger, 2 of his best friends go missing and are presumed to be murdered. He doesn't really have any memories of what's happened there, but he wants to start working in the police to help other people. The disappearance of a young girl kind of brings him back to his hometown, the same place where his like friends went missing, and it kind of is bringing back a lot of memories for him. Obviously his best friends went missing and now this other girl's gone missing, and yeah, it just sounds like a really interesting book. It's quite big, quite a big book, but I'm excited to get into this one as well. Next challenge I want to kind of look at is challenge number 20, and that is a second book in a series. So I've not actually got this one with me, and I know what I said I would try and make it just books that I owned, but I really want to read Scarlet by Marissa Myers, so I'm picking this book. This is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I read Cinder this month, like March, and I loved it so much. It is kind of like inspired by Little Red Riding Hood, I believe. And It follows our main character who lives with her grandmother, and her grandmother goes missing. So Scarlett doesn't just think her grandmother has like wandered off or ran away, she believes her grandmother has been kidnapped. From what I've read from the description, there is links to Cinder as well, so they kind of like tie in together, and I'm really excited to see how the two stories link. The last challenge that I have picked out a book so far for is the challenge of a book in a series that has green on the cover. For that, I have picked Stalking Jack the Ripper, and that is by Carrie. Some of you might already know, but the reason that this book is something that I want to read really soon is because of the book club that I'm taking part with. If you don't know about this book club and you'd like to know a little bit more, I will leave a link down below to my introductory video about it, and I will leave the links to those who are taking part with me down below as well, so be sure to check them out too. I tried not to know too much about this book because I knew I would be reading it really soon. Obviously it's about Jack the Ripper. But other than that, I don't really know a lot about it. Tried not to look it up. I know it's got a lot of booktube hype as well, and so does the second book, and I believe there's a third book as well. But I'm super excited to read this one, especially it's the very first book that my book club will be reading together. So I'm really excited to read this together and just to share our thoughts and opinions on it. So that has been my TBR for the seasonal series challenges. So this isn't a complete list, as you may have gathered. There's about 25 challenges as part of this series, and I've only maybe covered half of them. But that is because I wanted to give myself a little bit of leeway. I didn't want to just have like all 25 books picked out in case I, wanted to read something else, or in case a book came up and it just accidentally met one of the challenges. Some of them are quite hard to pick in advance. Like there's ones that read a book series where the character has like a lot of growth, and I think that's quite hard to pick out beforehand, so I'm just going to wait until I find a book that I'm reading and the character kind of grows as a person, and then I'll be able to check it off. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. That would help me out so much, and please hit that subscribe button down below so you can see some more of my videos. Again, please check out the seasonal series on Twitter. It's going to be a super fun series, and it's quite laid back. It should be easy for everyone to kind of at least take part in some of the challenges. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!